Hello. Welcome everyone to Dano Crypto. Welcome to the live stream today. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is feeling good. Remember, on this channel, we show you how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So we're testing something out today. We are going to be doing this part one of the live stream. So just everyone can come in here, but then after the first 30 minutes, we are going to go to part two, which is a members only live stream. So if you want to become a member of the channel and you guys want to be a part of the Dano Dojo crew, then make sure you join as a member of the channel and you will be able to tune into the second half of the live stream. So today we're going to be covering the Bitcoin volatility because it is pretty high right now, but we are getting some bullish movements. We are going to start the show off today with analyzing the Bitcoin and altcoin prices. We're going to give a good analysis. And then we're going to talk about some of the breaking news that has happened today. We got some things with the Trump World Liberty Financial Protocol, and we have some things with stable coins. We have things about gold and silver, leading indicators that gold and silver are going to be still breaking out over the next year to 2 years, breaking all-time highs, and that could actually be a leading bullish indicator for macro conditions for the cryptocurrency markets, because this is kind of where everything is pivoting. So we're going to cover all this today. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and remember to become a member of the channel if you want to continue watching the live stream after the first 30 minutes. So if you want to get just an overall kind of micro look at Bitcoin right now, we basically broke through the 200-day moving average for Bitcoin. So that 200-day moving average was around 83 to 84,000, and now it is sitting at a 85,000 point. So we broke through that, creating a new structure for the chart on Bitcoin. So we broke past the 86.5 resistance. And you can see now that we're leading up to that point where we thought we were actually going to get to this yesterday. We had a really nice bullish push off of that 86, and we consolidated down. We pushed off of here, went as close to 89. We stopped at 88.7. I'm sure a lot of you guys were thinking maybe that was a good short potential, but we didn't get in the short. We actually got in a long right down in these levels. Because we saw that momentum, we were feeling it. We were thinking, look, Bitcoin was getting a little oversold right here. So we thought to ourselves, if we could really actually push, then we have some really good bullish momentum coming up. So we had a little capitulation, not too much, but then from this 86 was a real strong level of a bounce. And so we actually really called it pretty well. If you were looking at the OKX chart that we were analyzing on Friday, we said, look, we have a bearish case scenario that if we break down off of the regression channel here, that the bearish target would be that bearish target everyone was calling for was that 74, 73, kind of getting down to establish a possible lower low from these lows, because you can see here we went 78, we went 77, and then I was thinking if we're going bear, then 75 would be on the cards. But it looks like we actually traded right into the circle of 88K exactly as predicted for the bull case scenario. So it's pretty on the money of landing right in that circle. So if you guys took the bull case and traded on that, then you are doing very, very well. So I'll show you the trades that we got into for Bitcoin, and you can see here, as you can see, the structure of this channel here broke bearish. Now that we are above that 86 right here, and this is looking on the daily chart, this is showing some strength to at least push up to the point of control also point of resistance, which is that 92. If we can push through that resistance with some volume, then we would be able to get to the pinch point of this kind of asymmetrical kind of triangle here, you know, just like where basically we broke down from that 96 down into that capitulation low of the 76 right here. Very good chance that we could go up to the point of control, high volume node right here at 96,000. We just have to cross through this barrier point, which we are sitting at right now. But if you're looking at the SMI, Stochastic Moving Indicator, you can see that we are getting a nice bullish divergence from a period of being a little overbought. You can still be green and overbought and still get up into a range as long as we have matching volume and we can match that and continue the momentum to the upside. So it's looking pretty good. We just have to have some sustained volume. We don't need this to be a type of fake out. We really want this to actually be a sustained rally, and then we can get some movements to the upside. Okay, so that's the Bitcoin price. Now let's get into the Bitcoin dominance. It's very important to keep track of the ETH dominance, the Bitcoin dominance, and the ETH BTC chart, because this is where we're going to kind of see where we're headed here and if we're going to continue a dominance peak, because at a point Bitcoin had peaked at 64% dominance, okay? So, and it still even looks like we could be trending up with dominance. That's what's crazy, is we could even go higher to 65. But what we really want, okay, guys, what we really want is the 56% dominance. Okay, folks, we need 56% dominance, because when we were at 50%, you know, even 58, between this range, 58% and 56%, we were in the peak of the market of 2024. We were at peak prices, 2024, 2020, you know, December, 2025, January. We started to get some movements. We peaked, we were moving. And if you look at also where we had ETH dominance back in that 14% range, 16% range, 18% range, here is when we were having some of the biggest runs in the altcoins. Like we had, just all of our, all the favorites. We had Doge going. We had basically the sentiment for the altcoins was really, really good. Okay. But it all was dependent on the movements of Ethereum and the dominance of Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin. So this is what we are keeping track of right now. Ultimately, fairly bullish. We just want to be, I guess, neutral bullish. And I think we're in a good spot. Right now, the markets, let's just get an overview of how everything is looking so far on the daily. All right, so right now in the top 100, the biggest movers, we have Athena, ENA up 8%. We have Form up 12%. We have Barachain up 10%, making some moves. Shout out to Barachain. We have Crow up 25%. So definitely some nice movements on Crow. We have AVAX up 5%. Doge 4%. These are the things we like to follow. We like to follow Crow, Cardano, Doge. Link up 1.9%. Not a big move, but movement. This is one of the coins that I believe is in the World Liberty Financial Wallet. So if we check that, that's up 12%. Let's look at the World Liberty Financial Wallet again and see what is happening here. This wallet I've been tracking just to kind of see what they're adding, what they're moving around. this is if you want to track this, I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can see and track the movements of this. And you can do this with a lot of different wallets. You can also track some of the influencers. You can track a lot of different stuff using this platform called Arkham, which is basically a blockchain. You can be a blockchain investigator using this. So they are currently holding a massive bag of Ethereum. As we all know, that was one of their biggest holdings, $16 million with Ethereum. But then you can see that they've added Mantle. That was a big buy, was that all my favorite creators are talking about quitting. Bye. I know. I was talking about quitting streaming and just watching the other streamers that I feel like are better than me. And then just study them and see what they're doing. But my friend, a good friend of mine, was like, well, let me see how you are popping up in the searches. Let me see if when I type in your name, does it even pop up in the search? And so when he was typing on his computer, he typed in Dano, and nothing popped up that had anything to do with crypto. Instead, it came up as nano crypto. And even when you type in Dano and then space and C, it still doesn't bring me up in the search. And so he was like, oh, you're being shadow banned. He's like, you're 100% being shadow banned. And I was like, I've thought about it, but I was like, I'm either being shadow banned or I suck. It's either one of the two. I don't know. So I guess we're just going to go with both, and then we'll come out the other side feeling good. We'll come out the other side feeling good, because if we are being shadow banned, that's a shame. It really would suck if we are getting shadow banned. But you guys are here. You're here. We appreciate you, and just make sure you're hitting the like button and doing all the things, all the housekeeping to keep this show on the road. All right, so let's get back into it. So let's not get distracted. So we want to look at what this wallet is holding, how they're moving stuff around, what's their biggest holdings, and if they're kind of hedging on some of these more so than others. And this is just a cool way to maybe think about what coins could be the play for the rest of the year, and maybe not even just for this year, but for next year as well, because a lot of people think that the bull market is going to end this year. I have this theory that the bull market and the market cycles are changing. Like, we're going through a renaissance and a flippening of the old TradFi systems going into new tech. It's kind of like a dying off of the old systems and then going into now DeFi. And with that, the cycles could be a lot different now going into the next couple years, especially because of the nature of the liquidity is so much different now than it was prior years in the previous cycles. There's way more liquidity in talks of stablecoin issuance. Now, this is where we're going to get into what has broke. So now we did some Bitcoin and altcoin analysis. Now we're going to go to the news. Okay. So the breaking news is that World Liberty Financial actually launched their own stablecoin. So World Liberty Financial plans to launch a USD1, the institutional ready stablecoin. So that's already been launched. So they just launched it. Let's look and see kind of what this means and why this is tied into our thesis of how the cryptocurrency markets are going to be so strong because of the stablecoin issuance. Because this is how liquidity is going to get into crypto. It's not because my friend I was telling him like, look, the stablecoins is where it's at. This is how liquidity is actually going to get into the ecosystems, and then wealth will be transferred through these stablecoin rails, and then that's how some of these chains are going to get this massive value proposition inside of the chains because of the liquidity. not just the chain itself and the coin itself, but then because they're like, think about Tron. You know, Tron has the biggest stablecoin liquidity out of all chains, and that's where a lot of its value comes from for its actual token. So think about Ethereum, think about the layer 2s, think about all this stuff, and think how that's how the total crypto market cap ends up being at $10 trillion, $15 trillion. It's because $1 trillion or more, 2 trillion, 3 trillion is going to be in stablecoin. Like, it's just going to be in stablecoin. And then we're going to have Bitcoin at 5 trillion just by itself. Then we have Ethereum at a $1 trillion market cap, you know, or a, sorry, not a 1 trillion, but maybe like a, let's see, because Ethereum at its peak was close to, oh no, it was close to $1 trillion. I mean, it was a half $1 trillion at its peak. Ethereum was at $535 billion market cap. Okay. And this is when the price was like about almost 5K. It was like 4,500. So think it's 100% possible for us to get a 1 trillion ETH per market cap. And then we have Bitcoin sitting at like 3 trillion, 4 trillion. And just think of where the rest of the market's going to be when we have those types of figures and where the market could be moving. So, all right. So this World Liberty Financial's USD1 will be 100% backed by short-term U.S. government treasuries. So that's interesting. So U.S. dollar deposits and other cash equivalents. Initially, the USD1 tokens will be minted on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain blockchains, with plans to expand to other protocols in the future. So each token is intended to maintain a value of $1, fully backed by reserve portfolio, audited regularly by a third-party accounting firm. So in quotes, it says, the USD1 provides what algorithmic and anonymous crypto projects cannot: access to the power of DeFi, underpinned by the credibility and safeguards of the most respected names in traditional finance, said Zach Witkoff, who is the co-founder of the World Liberty Financial. So we're offering a digital dollar stablecoin that sovereign investors and major institutions can confidently integrate into their strategies for seamless, secure, cross-border transactions. And then you ask yourself, what's the point of XRP if they could just do this? Come on, XRP army. Come on. Come at me. Come out with some shots. But I'm just saying. All right, so the launch of USD1 represents a significant advancement in institutional-ready digital assets, said Mike Belsch, BitGo CEO. Our clients, so they're using BitGo. So it's issued by a BitGo. We don't know very much about BitGo, so our clients demand both security and efficiency, and this partnership with World Liberty Financial delivers both, combining deep liquidity with the assurance that reserves are securely held and managed within regulated, qualified custody. So this is cool. So that's one of the main drivers, I think, of the next wave of institutional buying is going to be through the stable coins. They're going to need the stable coins to transfer value between these protocols, between these institutions. And then just wait, guys. Once we start to see the small businesses come in and start to interact with the blockchain, start to take stable coins, they might even go as far as staking those stable coins and figuring out a way to operate their small business inside of a DeFi protocol. Like they have their main business, but then they also have in their treasury, their cash reserves. Soon, I think these small businesses or even mid-tier big businesses are going to then start using these stable coins and then generating yield through the blockchain. It's only a matter of time. And then this is how the financial revolution really actually starts. And it starts with the products and services and the people just implementing this stuff. It's going to take a little bit. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will come down the pipe eventually. And the clear indicator and signal is that we have a pro-crypto administration going into the next 4 years. And so we still have so much time to marinate these ideas and to get the ball rolling. People think we're in a bubble right now, which is crazy. I think that's crazy to think that crypto is going to zero and we're in a bubble and that was it. 109 was the top. Now we're just going to go to 30K and then we just have to do a whole nother cycle all over again. I don't know. I don't feel that. I feel like we're getting psyoped and rug pulled in a completely different type of way. We're being led to believe that the cycles are just going to continue like they are, but I don't think that's the case. I think we are going to see one of the biggest euphoric pulls into crypto, but it's gonna feel different than what it did in 2021. It's gonna probably feel a little different than it maybe did in 2017 if you were from back that far. It's just a different type of game, I think, that's being played right now. And we just want to be, hopefully, on the other side of it. We want to be on the right side, jokingly, the right side of history. Are you on the right side of history when it comes to crypto? Well, I guess if you are taking part and you're DCAing, you're doing your part of researching, doing your own research, doing your due diligence, checking all this stuff out, then you're a part of the revolution. You're a part of the revolution. But all right, let's check in. Let's do a chat check-in. Let's do a heartbeat check. See how everyone's feeling. Thank you for tuning in. If you didn't already, please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys coming into today's live stream. Like I said, guys, we are just going to be streaming for just about 30 minutes here. 30 to 35 minutes here, and then we're going to continue part 2 where we're going to get into the trading and we're going to show the trades. We're going to show you some things, some other stuff. We're going to get into the controversial Pulse chain ecosystem and the PDI situation, but we're saving that for part 2. So make sure you guys are going to want to continue watching the live stream because you have to be a member to join part 2. We're testing something out, guys. We're testing something out today. And if you didn't notice, we have a really awesome shirt on today. This is the Buff Doge shirt that I've had for sale in my merch store for a while now. So if you guys want to wear some super, super bullish crypto merch, these shirts are absolutely amazing. I was really curious how the Buff Doge shirt would come out, and it's awesome. It's really good. I mean, I can't wait to wear this around town. I cannot wait to wear this around town so I can get the looks and get the, man, that's an awesome shirt. Because whenever I wear my ticker Bitcoin shirt, I get so many compliments. I get so many nice shirt compliments on the ticker, and they don't even know what it is. They're just like, oh, that's cool. But I'll show you the other shirt too. Hold on. We got Bean Coin shirts. Let's go. It's gonna look really weird on the green screen because obviously, there's some green matrix, but we have some awesome Bean Coin shirts as well. So if you want to be a part of the Bean Coin street team, then all you got to do is buy a shirt, buy a sticker, buy a coffee mug, and then why not actually, buy some coffee while you're at it too. If you live in the United States, we can definitely get some coffee to you. Just go to beancoin.co and you can see what is happening on this side of the screen here. Beancoin. Beancoin is the world's first coffee meme incentive program that we are building this brand from the ground up. Make sure if you want to actually be on the street team, just join the Discord. You just got to join the Discord, and then I know you will be part of the revolution. And here's the merch section. Check that out. Okay. Now let's get into the rest of what is breaking news today. Yeah, there was a lot of talks on Solana. So that was what it was. Yeah, BlackRock expands fund to Solana. So BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has expanded its blockchain-based money market fund known as Build, which they started on Ethereum. So if you remember, BlackRock actually created this Build on Ethereum first. So they're bringing it to the Solana blockchain. So this expansion, facilitated through a partnership with the startup Securitize, aims to integrate traditional finance with decentralized platforms by introducing tokenized real-world assets to Solana. So the RWA narrative, guys, is huge. It is huge. And this is why we've been so bullish on, ecosystems and coins like XYO, because they've been doing this for a long time. And so we've focused on that type of narrative and what blockchain could potentially be picked and used, for the real world asset narrative. And so, yeah, Solana is going to be a big one. Solana is also a blockchain that is getting heavily involved in buying Bitcoin and also being one of the chains that owns the most Bitcoin. So we thought about it and we were like, okay, if the value proposition of these blockchains all depends on how bullish they are on Bitcoin, and if they're going to purchase Bitcoin and produce either hash rate, mining their own Bitcoin, or then also just buying Bitcoin with either profits or whatever they're generating as revenue, and then they're buying Bitcoin, and then also providing Bitcoin DeFi where they have wrapped versions of Bitcoin like what Zeus is doing. The Zeus protocol that's on Solana. Is this it? I want to make sure I'm clicking on the right Zeus. So yeah, it's the first multi-chain layer on Solana where you can build Bitcoin dApps with an SVM. It's the first dApp Bitcoin on-chain exchange that is by Apollo, which is the Zeus network. So stuff like this, I think, is going to be the biggest narrative, not just for like this year, but it's like if you're buying stuff like this year, you're most likely going to see the biggest gains probably next year, because that's when you're going to see these things really take off and you start to see the value build up. And this is just one aspect. So you could go down the rabbit hole with the Zeus network, or you can go into, like, for instance, like I've been keeping up with Prosper, really thinking about, honestly, like buying. I haven't bought any yet, but I'm thinking about buying a bag and starting to build up a bag of Bitcoin hash rate generating narratives and real world assets that are adding to Bitcoin's value proposition through strengthening the network, because it's all a network effect at a point. So Prosper is building the largest RWA, real world asset protocol, for Bitcoin hash rate and treasury. So they are producing Bitcoin and hash rate, and then they're using the Prosper token as a governance token and a representation of the hash rate that they're generating. So there's a lot of really cool stuff, all just in this one narrative, all in this one little narrative. Not little narrative, but a big narrative that I think could play out very much so. So I would keep your eye on it. Just keep your eye on this one for sure. This is where we're headed, is Bitcoin DeFi. Things being backed by Bitcoin and Bitcoin DeFi, and also just adding to the hash rate, which ultimately strengthens the network. And that's what we want, the big network effect. Because it's kind of, think about it just like the internet. The internet had a network effect, took a little bit, it had to mature, we had to go through a bit of a burst, but then ultimately there was no bubble. Then it just became everything. Connection, databases, bandwidth, AWS, all these different the different services, the different just so much stuff is now fully based on the success of the internet. And so now, what do you think is going to be backing the internet? Well, it's the blockchain. It's the blockchain. So this is where we are headed, my friends. This is where we are headed, my friends. Okay. Yeah. The DPIN, decentralized infrastructure, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. All right. So how long have we been streaming? We've been streaming for 31 minutes. Okay, so we're going to do what we said. We're going to test this out. So, all right, guys, if you want to keep watching, if you want to go, and we're going to get into the other section of the live stream, which is the gem hunting, what I'm buying, and then the Q&A. So thank you guys for tuning in to this part 1 of the live stream. If you want to continue watching, we're going to be over at part 2. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys over on the next part 2 live stream. See you over there.